Jesus wants your life to overflow. He wants your life to overflow with joy. He wants your life to overflow with peace. He wants your life to overflow with purpose, with love. He wants your life to overflow with satisfaction.
Think summer camp meets missions trip. What started out as a small church youth conference in the 901 Memphis region in the mid-2000s has now exploded to a big mega yearly youth event. Access Conference. As far back as 2011, the Life Church's student ministry called Access could only dream of having over 1,000 students for the event, as they were averaging around 300 to 500 student signups. Now, since 2021, the event every year has sold out, topping out just under 2,000 student signups. And here's the kicker. Now over 60% of student attendees are from other churches outside of Memphis, ranging as far east as churches from Maine to as far west as churches from California. Access Conference 2025 made history for selling out tickets in April, 2+ months out from the actual event. But now there's a dilemma that has now been talked about publicly at the Life Church. How do they accommodate for more students, with waiting lists ranging to the hundreds of students waiting and crossing their fingers to attend? Talks of expansion have begun behind closed doors. In this video, we're going to dive into different scenarios that the Life Church and Access could possibly do to expand the capacity of Access Conference.
You're going to now be filled with the Spirit. You got a glimpse of your future. Now you're about to storm into your future. This is just the beginning. There is more in store.
Keep status quo. For now. It's not the popular thing, but for the moment the recipe is working, and it still leaves a big impact for those that attend and for the city that hosts it, the greater Memphis metropolitan area. In terms of a guest church or student getting access and tickets, registration for each new conference begins immediately right after said current conference has concluded at accessconference.com. The current venue that conference takes place in since 2017 is the Life Church's location on Houston Hill Road in Eads, Tennessee. The auditorium can currently accommodate for over 1,800 people. As of the making of this video, there is no current change of status for at least the 2026 Access Conference.
Want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Back-to-back weeks of conference. This expansion scenario would be the most logical and accommodable option that will be discussed here today for the immediate future. What this does is easily line up schedules for guest speakers, potential guest music artists, equipment rentals, and other accommodations needed to host the event that is the Access Conference. This plan would see a similar setup to what Access actually does for their fall retreat events. They split it up in 2 different weekends, one isolated event just for middle schoolers and the next one for high schoolers. Now take that and apply it here. 1 week in June would see Access Conference for just middle schoolers, and the following week would be Access Conference for high schoolers.
I declare in the room tonight that you are going to get hold of a sword and you are going to get your freedom back, because God's got a weapon for you.
Listen.
1 week in June, 1 week in July. This plan would essentially take the previous scenario, but divide it up not in back-to-back weeks, but exactly like Access's own fall retreat plan. Middle schoolers in June, high schoolers in July. This plan would immediately face hurdles for scheduling from guest pastors and other special guests. And not only that, every year the production team and design teams at the Life Church always go above and beyond with the setups in the auditorium and lobby setups. One hurdle that would need to be tackled immediately is the cost. That would balloon the budget like there's no tomorrow. Lobby setup assets can be made and easily taken down and put back up, but in the actual auditorium where the event is, the production team brings in extra elements for lighting and more LED screens to always enhance the experience. Most notable company that they get LED screen rentals and other items from is a company called 4 Wall Entertainment. The cost alone for current use is already a tall task. You can push the limit to a back-to-back week scenario event hosting, but try keeping that equipment for 2+ months from the initial setup in early June to the end of July, and you'll see the cost skyrocket to numbers most churches could use to host their own youth conferences. This scenario is an idea, but tap this as possibly one not likely to happen in the immediate future.
Can I encourage you to get your hopes up? For miracles to happen, the foundational ingredient is faith. It's faith. But to have faith, you must have hope. Hoping is helpful.
Host event at all 3 local Life Church locations. The Life Church currently not only has this big facility in East Tennessee, they also have 2 other church locations just outside of downtown Memphis with Highland and Austin P. Every Sunday, the church hosts services simultaneously, with the Highland and Austin P locations tap into a live feed using VTech equipment from the Eads location. The scenario would essentially see this same process do the same for the week event of Access Conference. One roadblock behind this would be that you would run the high risk of what do you do in the event of an internet outage? Because if that happens, there's no backup plan. But let's think positive. Say there is no glitch or hiccup in this idea, you run into a few more problems. One would be the experience at the other locations would be a step down from the actual experience at the main location. From creative elements with openers, mid-service pops, etc. If you're at Highland or Austin P, your experience gets ticked down a bit, and it would feel like you got served the leftover spots you missed out on for the main location event. The last problem would be this. Access Conference has hundreds of volunteers locally and abroad that help make the event happen and even possible at the current venue. Now what happens when you split it all up and those volunteers are divided up 3 ways?
When you give him everything and then you love other people in the same way, that's the top button. Everything else works out.
You have access to the God of the universe, and he wants to use you as an atmosphere changer.
When your dreams come true, don't touch the glory. Don't take the credit. Give all glory back to God.
Expand at current location. The Life Church's Houston Hill Road location currently houses the conference in their main auditorium. The church also has another auditorium that gets used for youth services during the school year. This idea would be in tandem with the church's Phase 2 plans they had to actually do building expansion at this location. Phase 2, announced as far back as 2022, is an expansion project that would expand the kids' ministry areas of the building and build out more office space and new rooms for filming and other creative fun things. Since the announcement, the Life Church has had to put it on the back burner with expansion opportunities presented abroad with a new permanent location for their New York location, a new building for Massachusetts, brand new locations in South Africa, and Nashville. With those now in the rearview mirror, Phase 2 looks to break ground within the next 2 years. With the completion of this project, Access Conference could host in their main auditorium like always, and any overflow attendance would be in their Access School Year Wednesday auditorium location called Motion that can be as jam-packed up to 450 seats for students. Tapping into the live feed through fiber and hardline connections that would have zero chance of failing on you as, say, a VTech showing at a different location. But let's say this goes according to plan and the main auditorium and Motion auditorium are maxed out. What other options are there to expand?
HGA, that's the law. New sheriff in his school.
The ultimatum. Different, bigger venue. This right here would be the ultimate scenario. Maxed out where you're at, time to search for a bigger venue. 2 locations that famously get brought up are the following: Bellevue Baptist Church and the one and only FedEx Forum. But for this scenario, we'll be looking at the FedEx Forum. The venue hosts a bevy of events, from basketball games for the Memphis Tigers and the Memphis Grizzlies to concerts and many other events. Access Conference at the Forum would just be another concert for the venue in terms of setup. Seating would be zero issue, and you can have all attendees in one location, 1 week, one awesome jam-packed event. But as always, the question will be costs. Costs to rent the venue, costs for setup, equipment, parking allocation, all questions and answers we obviously don't have. This is in fact called the ultimatum. So if Access Conference is ever to be hosted at a different, bigger venue, they are moving in the right direction. All possibilities discussed here are just fun ideas. We don't know what is being discussed behind closed doors. What we do know is that Access has a problem, and it's a good problem to have. What was once a June youth event at a church getting just over 200 kids back in the day, now is selling out close to 2,000, is an event in high demand. a big conference event that is selling out and raising the standards every year, and more want to attend from students to guest churches. It's a good problem to have. We shall see what the future holds as the conference continues to grow in their influence and reach across the nation. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and if you're new here, subscribe to this channel for brand new videos, content, and much more.